Jai Shri Ram. In this recording, I am going to read out the speech made by Patrick Henry, who famously said, "Give me liberty or give me death." 23rd March 1775. This was the speech he delivered, and this line became famous: "Give me liberty or give me death." Just like Bal Gangadhar Tilak said, "स्वराज मेरा जन्मसिद्ध अधिकार है." स्वराज मेरा जन्मसिद्ध अधिकार है, और अब तक हिंदू को कोई अधिकार नहीं मिला, लूटा गया एवर सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस. Even after 77 years of independence, our temples are being looted by the government, while churches and mosques are free. And we have only Hindu reform bill, code bill Hindu, and Hindus cannot marry more than one. That is bigamy, 7 years imprisonment. Whereas Muslims can have 4 wives. There is absolutely no freedom for the Hindu to run his own school. You know what's happening with the Right to Education RTE Act. And you must look at the charter of Hindu rights or Hindu freedom. I will read that out later. So we are actually 8th class citizens, as Ananda Ranganathan ji said, which actually means we are 3rd class citizens. We have no right to handle our own temples. And we all know what happened in Tirupati: beef and God knows pork and what all was offered and served to the. So all this nonsense is going on. Had something like this happened to a Muslim shrine or a Christian shrine, the country would have been up in flames. Okay. So we trusted Gandhiji, who said, I will not allow the partition. And then finally this man Nehru, who lost the election, was foisted on us as the first PM, when he actually lost the election with only 1 vote. Out of the 14 votes that were polled by the Congress Working Committee, 13 were in favor of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, 1 for Nehru, 1 was absent. But this man, I don't want to use any expletives now. How did this clown become the first prime minister of the country? It is cheating. It is the worst kind of backstabbing or treachery of the entire nation. So our democracy started undemocratically, and Gandhiji conducted his brahmachari experiment, sleeping naked and all those other interesting things. So this is the state of Hinduism. He cannot be considered any Mahatma. And if we look at Ramayana, Bharatam and our Vedas, we value men of great moral stature, rishis, not people who sleep naked in order to control their lust and all that. So I think this Patrick Henry speech will be very inspiring for every Hindu, and let us hope Patrick Henry will help us revive that Kshatra spirit, the Brahmin spirit and the Kshatriya spirit. Every Hindu. Remember, now some idiot will say that I am a casteist fellow. Not at all. So that is a different debate, I already told you. So Brahma Tejas and Kshatra Tejas we have to develop, so that we make this a Hindu Rashtra. Remember, Hindu Rashtra will ensure that everyone can live in peace, because Hinduism is the only religion that is truly secular. You can believe in whatever you want, however absurd your holy book might be, as long as you do not commit any crime in the name of the book. Even if that book is saying that these are the crimes that you should actually commit, we will not mind, as long as you don't actually follow that book. That is the freedom the Hindu will give you. So it is high time. Otherwise, they are looting our temples. Now they are grabbing the land. The Supreme Court, I do not know how they are sitting on it and why they are discussing it. In fact, India was created by land given by nearly 580 Rajas, I think. How many? I don't know the exact figure. Princely kingdoms, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel united. So 586 or something they say. Out of that, only 3 were Muslim Nawabs. The remaining all were Hindu kings. So when 580 plus Hindu kings gave land to create India, there itself it is Hindu land. Where is the question of this Waqf land? And after all, for a minority, why do they need so much land? The Christian church is holding more land than anybody else. After the Indian army, next is Christian church, and they are a minority. And now this third minority, this is not a minority. See, according to the rules required to brand somebody as a minority, their population should be less than 5%, but Muslims are more than 20%. So we don't have the courage, we don't have the political will, spineless. We are sitting there in the parliament. I do not know, what is the collective noun for owls? Ullu? Parliament. Parliament, interestingly, is the collective noun for owls. So Ullu, OWLS. Okay, now I am going to read Patrick Henry. Patrick Henry, 23rd March 1775. Give me liberty or give me death. This is the name of the speech. As Edmund Burke made his plea in the British House of Commons for conciliation with the American colonies, the Virginia Convention to the Continental Congress was meeting in St. John's Church in Richmond. One delegate was the Virginian patriot and successful lawyer Patrick Henry, 1736-1799. That is his, his lifespan, who had delivered the first speech to the Congress in 1774. Henry rose and handed to the clerk a series of resolutions stating that a militia was the only security of free government. So a militia is the only security. Please note down the phrases. Please listen intently. Every Hindu, I expect to listen to this. I expect every Hindu to listen to this. That a militia was the only security of free government, that a militia was necessary to protect American rights and liberties, and that Virginia be put immediately into a posture of defense. With the revolutionary fervor of the colonists at fever pitch, Henry defended his resolutions. Patrick Henry. The tendons of his neck stood out white and rigid like whipcords, wrote a Baptist clergyman as he described the climax of Henry's speech. His voice rose louder and louder until the walls of the building and all within them seemed to shake and rock in its tremendous vibrations. Finally, his pale face and glaring eyes became terrible to look upon. According to Thomas Jefferson, he was the leader of the revolution. The American Revolution is the biggest colony started from this speech. Now this is the speech. Mr. President, it is natural to man to indulge in the illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against a painful truth and listen to the song of that siren till she transforms us into beasts. Is this the part of wise men engaged in a great and arduous struggle for liberty? Are we disposed to be of the number of those who, having eyes, see not, and having ears, hear not, the things which so nearly concern our temporal salvation? For my part, whatever anguish of spirit it may cost, I am willing to know the whole truth, to know the worst and to provide for it. I have but one lamp by which my feet are guided, and that is the lamp of experience. I know of no way of judging of the future but by the past, and judging by the past, I wish to know what there has been in the conduct of the British ministry over the last 10 years to justify those hopes with which gentlemen have been pleased to solace themselves and the House. Is it that an insidious smile with which our petition has been lately received? Trust it not, sir. It will prove a snare to your feet. Suffer not yourself to be betrayed with a kiss. Ah, look at that example. Look at the language. This is Jesus Christ being kissed by Judas. So, they are accepting the petitions, they are sitting on it, and the courts are sitting on some 4 crore cases. And they have time to discuss silly cases, frivolous litigation, vexatious litigation. Oh my God, we are in a terrible state. See, look at this line. Suffer not yourself to be betrayed with a kiss. Ask yourself how this gracious reception of our petition comports with these warlike preparations that cover our waters and darken our land. Are fleets and armies necessary to a work of love and reconciliation? Have we shown ourselves so unwilling to be reconciled that force must be called in to win back our love? Let us not deceive ourselves, sir. These are the implements of war and subjugation, the last arguments to which kings resort. I ask, gentlemen, sir, what means this martial array, if its purpose be not to force us into submission? Can gentlemen assign any other possible motives for it? Has Great Britain any enemy in this quarter of the world to call for this accumulation of navies and armies? No, sir, she has none. Now please understand the context. If this whole speech is translated into Hindi, even without mentioning the word Hindu, you will understand this is a speech addressed to every Hindu. Okay, now please listen carefully. Can gentlemen assign any other possible motives for it? Has Great Britain any enemy in this quarter of the world to call for all this accumulation of navies and armies? No, sir, she has none. They are meant for us. They can be meant for no other. They are sent over to bind and rivet upon us those chains which the British ministry have been so long forging. And what have we to oppose to them? Shall we try argument? Sir, we have been trying that for the last 10 years. I think we have been trying it for the last 77 years. Hindus. Have we anything new to offer on the subject? Nothing. Have we anything new to offer on the subject? Nothing. We have held the subject up in every light of which it is capable. But it has been all in vain. Shall we resort to entreaty and humble supplication? What terms shall we find which have not already been exhausted? Let us not, I beseech you, sir, deceive ourselves longer. Sir, we have done everything that could be done to avoid the storm which is now coming on. And we are already in that storm anyway. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated ourselves before the throne and have implored its interposition to arrest the tyrannical hands of the ministry and parliament. Our petitions have been slighted. Our remonstrances have produced additional violence and insult. Our supplications have been disregarded. Up till now, Gaumata, they are slaughtering on the roads and eating. Article 48, nobody cares. And we have been spurned with contempt from the foot of the throne. In vain, after these things, may we indulge in fond hope of peace and reconciliation. There is no longer any room for hope. If we wish to be free, if we mean to preserve inviolate those inestimable privileges for which we have been so long contending, if we mean not basely to abandon the noble struggle in which we have been so long engaged, and which we have pledged ourselves never to abandon until the glorious object of our contest shall be obtained, we must fight. I repeat it, sir, we must fight. An appeal to arms and to the God of hosts is all that is left us. They tell us, sir, that we are weak. Just think, if you are a good Hindu, authentic Hindu. They tell us, sir, that we are weak, unable to cope with so formidable an adversary. But when shall we be stronger? Will it be next week or the next year? Will it be when we are totally disarmed and when a British guard shall be stationed in every house? Shall we gather strength by irresolution and inaction? Shall we acquire the means of effectual resistance by lying supinely on our backs and hugging the delusive phantom of hope until our enemies shall have bound us hand and foot? Sir, we are not weak. If we make a proper use of the means which the God of nature hath placed in our power, 3 millions of people armed in the holy cause of liberty. Okay, Hindu population at least 100 crores. 100 crores armed in the holy cause of Hindu Rashtra. And in such a country as that which we possess, are invincible by any force which our enemy can send against us. Besides, sir, we shall not fight our battles alone. There is a just God who presides over the destinies of nations. Wah! Remember this line. There is a just God who presides over the destinies of nations. Okay? And who will raise up friends to fight our battles for us. The battle, sir, is not to the strong alone. It is to the vigilant, the active, the brave. Besides, sir, we have no election. If we were base enough to desire it, it is now too late to retire from the contest. There is no retreat but in submission and slavery. Our chains are forged. Their clanking may be heard on the plains of Boston. The war is inevitable, and let it come. I repeat it, sir, let it come. It is vain, sir, to extenuate the matter. Gentlemen may cry peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war is actually begun. Wow, the war has actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it that a gentleman wish? What would they have? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Wow. I hope this thing is translated into English, Hindi, and every Indian language, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, so that every Hindu listens to this. Unless we Hindus all unite, this country is going to be torn apart, and we will become third class citizens, which we are already third class citizens. Jai Shri Ram.